West Allen.
I was waiting to see what you're going to start off with. Let's see what we got in here. Keeping an eye on the chat. It says we are live, receiving our content. You're live. The internet can totally see you now. Just stop streaming. Okay, cool. Awesome. So if you're watching this on playback, everybody, we are going to be talking about Batwoman, Supergirl, and The Flash this week, and maybe some random stuff at the end. So yeah, it's me. It's Pagey. You can hear him as usual in the background there.
I'd hope so.
So yeah, this is going to be fun. We're back. We've got some of our shows back this week. And the chat is showing up now, so I guess we're working and everybody's here. Let's take the image down and go ahead and pop in. Hello, everybody. What's going on? Homeless Tuna, True Samurai Hero, Victor, Dr. Manhattan, my favorite Watchman, by the way. Adriel, let's see, Oliver Mister? That's interesting. Joe, how are you doing? Victor, what's going on? Another Victor. That's right. We got two Victors. Victor Chinchilla and Victor O. Welcome you guys to the chat. So before we get started with Batwoman, we're going to do just a little bit of chatting with you guys to give people a chance to get here. As we know, YouTube's notification system is not the best. So we're going to start off with asking Pagey, how have you been this week, Pagey?
Just being inspired by the latest Joker movie, to incite some incel violence. You know how it goes, yeah.
Yeah, just another day in the neighborhood. I get it.
Yeah, just another day, yeah.
Speaking of, I have seen Joker twice. In the chat, if you guys have seen Joker, tell us how many times you've seen it. Some people have seen it. I know someone that saw it like 4 times already. How many times have you been? I know you've been more than once.
Twice. I'll probably go again maybe tomorrow.
All right.
But I saw it twice in 2 days, so I sort of want to. I don't know. I might go again tomorrow. I think it's not as like. I think it. I guess it's not. I guess it's slight offense, but also I don't intend offense. But I think it's weird if you see this movie too many times because of how rough it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not going to spoil anything yet, you guys. Don't worry. Yeah. but yeah. So one of the things that's interesting. I cut my finger, by the way, today. Look at that Band-Aid job there. It's really bad.
Well, that's what you get from dabbing without checking your surroundings.
Right, exactly. So, Joker, one thing I will say is once you've watched the movie through once and you go back and you see it a second time, it's like a different movie because there's things that you don't pick up on in the beginning or you may pick up on like later on in the movie when you go in and you watch it a second time, it changes. At least for me, it changed the way you view the film. I don't know if that was like that for you or not, but it was for me, especially with a particular female character that I didn't pick up on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Not Iris West.
No, Zazie Beetz' character, like her character.
Okay.
I didn't pick up on it the first movie, or the first time I saw it. But when I went back and saw it the second time, yeah, it was good. So, all right, we got a super chat already. Haven't even really jumped in anything yet. Jasper Weldon with a £1.99, I think, super chat. What is your biggest worries for Crisis? The break between between the first 3 and the last 2 episodes. I would say for me that's I don't know. I feel like it really depends on what the cliffhanger is. What about you? What, you got any worries for Crisis?
Not being able to balance fan service and just a good story.
So some of those 5-second cameos that we're gonna get, 10-second cameos.
Well, it's not even that. Like, there's been like people concerned like that. Like, it's cool. It's really cool having the Smallville people in there again, but how are they? Is it just going to be fan service? Or are they actually going to work into the story?
Right.
Because they're not writing the story as it goes. Like they would have written it. So were the Smallville people always in the plans for the script, or
do they just throw them in at the last minute?
Yeah, do they get them last minute and they're just going to chuck them in somewhere and work around it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I did see someone ask about Black Lightning. Okay, to answer your question, yes, I'm going to be covering Black Lightning this season. Yes, I'm going to be doing reviews for it. No, I'm not talking about it in this episode because Pagey hasn't seen it because he watches it on Netflix and it's a week behind. So it's going to be hard for me to discuss it without him seeing it. And I haven't had a chance to watch it yet either. So we're both, I thought it was next week. So we're both behind on Black Lightning right now, but I will be
Yeah,
talking
so you
about
can
it.
blame me. I've ruined everything.
No, I said that I forgot it was on this week. So, but yeah, we are going to cover it. Do not worry. Actually, Black Lightning videos will probably wrap up my week. I'll probably do my Black Lightning video like on Friday because I'm going to do one video a day instead of two to try and keep burning myself out. So Black Lightning will be my Friday video before the weekend starts. So look forward to that. But we're not going to talk about it tonight. Pagey hasn't seen it yet, and I forgot it was on. So there we go. We are going to talk about the other 3 shows, though. So I hope you guys are ready. Here we go. Let us talk about Batwoman. Boop.
Batwoman. I
Batwoman.
think that's how it's pronounced.
So I don't have a lot on my notes here for Batwoman, and the reason why is because it is a pilot, and it's sort of just laying the groundwork for the series. It's pretty much the way it works. You guys know how that goes, and it was an origin story. What I will ask you, though, Pagey, is you saw this earlier. You saw it way before everybody else. Did they change anything from the one you saw to the one that we got on TV? Was there anything that was different?
The only thing of note that I can remember is the Vesper Fairchild voiceover wasn't in the Comic-Con one. There was a voiceover, but it wasn't her. So in the episode they go, "This is Vesper Fairchild" or whatever, and then she says the same stuff. She says something. That might have been the same lines, but it was said by someone completely different. It wasn't her because I think they got that because it's an actual reporter or like political commentator or something. Like that's the voice of Vesper Fairchild. And I think they only got her late.
Okay. So that wasn't in the one that you saw. Completely not there at all.
Yeah,
right?
like there was a voiceover, and I don't know if they said the exact same thing, but it was definitely not her. It was a different voice.
Okay.
Yeah, Rachel Maddow. That's the Vesper Fairchild now, but I think it was just a random voiceover in the one at Comic-Con. But I think everything else was pretty much the same. I can't think like I would have that was the thing that caught me out, that voiceover, because I was like, that wasn't in that thing.
Right. I changed my volume, by the way. People were talking about my volume. I just adjusted it. So
and also, there's people saying like, "Oh my god, they got the backlash from the trailer, so they took out the like not let a man take my work credit for my work or something, so they took it out." That wasn't in the episode on the same day that trailer came out because certain press got the episode, the pilot episode, literally the same time that trailer came out, the first trailer. So there's people trying to take credit that they hate or something.
Right.
Got the
So
line removed.
in other words, it was used
never
for
in the
promotion, but
episode.
it was never in the episode, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, which makes you wonder, why was it in the trailer?
Right.
That's another thing, but anyway.
Okay,
yeah.
so I already see some people talking in the chat about this, about the whole like agenda for the show and the series. You know, I would love to rage with you guys because you know I love to like be triggered just as much as anybody else with these shows. I didn't really feel like this episode or this premiere had any sort of like agenda for the show. It seemed like your typical premiere episode for a brand new superhero series. There wasn't anything in it. Like I feel like Supergirl pushes more social commentary than this did. But for some reason
like,
people are still
yeah.
What do you think?
There's still people going on like it's a Batman hating show, and I was like, I'm pretty sure they made it clear that Kate Kane had like the wrong view on Batman, that it wasn't his fault for everything. Like at the beginning, she has like a negative view on him, but at the end, she's like, oh well, it was out of his control. It wasn't his fault. Like there's people still going on about the whole negativity towards Batman.
There were people.
Like,
there's channels that I watch
that.
on YouTube that specifically go out of their way to attack anything like Batwoman or anything that's perceived like Batwoman. And I feel like if you're going to be mad about it, you can't get mad about something that isn't what you should be mad about just to make it a thing. Like if you start barking at everything, then nothing matters. And I feel like Batwoman is one of those nothing things where I'll admit the trailer, the advertising missed the mark. Absolutely. Do I think the show missed the mark though? No, I think the show is exactly what I expected it to be, you know? Yeah.
Like I don't see any SJW. Like people say like the fact that she's a lesbian is SJW. I'm like, what?
Well,
it doesn't make any sense.
Because,
you know what I mean? Like that was created back in the 80s.
There are these channels on YouTube that have taken words and turned them into something they were not meant to be. So they use these phrases and terms all the time. And then you have people online who just take those words and use them interchangeably with stuff. And I don't understand it. If you didn't, okay, guys, here's the thing. If you didn't like the episode and this show is something that you do not enjoy, I 100% support that. It's like, I don't have an
Yeah.
issue with that at all. But if you're attacking the show for having some sort of agenda, if that agenda is telling the story of a character from the comics as they are presented in the comics, that's not really an agenda. They're just taking the story and turning it into live action. And if you didn't like the comics, then fair enough with that too. But not everything is some conspiracy theory, like diversity agenda thing. It's not. It's just not. And you know, was the advertising bad? Absolutely. I will not disagree with that. When I saw the advertising, you and I talked about it.
The early advertising, I think like the last month was, it seemed like they changed it, like because they're actually using stuff from the show.
Right.
The issue with the advertising is that they obviously handed it off to someone in LA, and they filmed all of it in LA. Right. Like the one where she goes in like the tattoo parlor, and there's like
I hated that.
Girl on
the tattoo,
like,
the tattoo ad was so bad. I was like,
and I was like, why are they even using? Because I don't even think the Flash did a couple of things, but it was like.
Bad.
Like the Flash used the Flash used like when he ran, there's like a speedometer thing, like a highway traffic person checking the speed and stuff. And then like I think him versing Arrow, like catching the Arrow. That was pretty much all they did with Arrow. They didn't do all this like, you know, pretty much like, you know, really cringy stuff like the tattoo parlor and her walking on the street and stuff, which was obviously filmed by someone that I don't think was really connected to the show.
Lime Green Hulk, that line is a line. There's no agenda. Agenda would be that line followed up with action. The line itself is just a bad line. Period. It doesn't follow up with anything. Like literally it has to fit her. The show is Batwoman. She's not going to wear a Batman suit without altering it.
Yeah.
like I get it. The line sucks, but it doesn't matter. The suit was going to be hers anyway. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Like the line should be a bit when it fits me. Like
if it would have said that, I would have been on board with it. That line was a bad line, but there was the follow up to it was what we thought it was going to be, which was they were just going to give her the suit.
But you know, if they said that, they'd still say it's agenda driven. Oh, because she's a woman, then it's perfect. People would still complain about it. I think it's bad, and it should have been it's me.
No, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
but people would still complain about it because they'd still want something to complain about.
The thing is, I said this, and you guys, I'm not picking sides with anybody, whether you like it or you don't like it. Okay, that's not the fight I'm getting into. The show is a CW show. It's a show led by a female superhero. What did you think you were going to get? I mean, seriously, I'm asking you this as someone who watches all these shows every single week. What did you think you were going to get from the show? Did you think she was going to come in and she was going to pretend to be a horrible female character as the lead? I mean, I don't know. What did you expect? I don't know. Maybe my expectations were low because they were kind of. I didn't come into this thinking it was going to be like the best show ever, right? But I certainly didn't think, I was like, if the advertising is this bad and the show is as bad as the advertising, then I'm just going to chalk it up as just being a bad series and be done with it. But it was an okay premiere. Were there bad parts of it? Yes. I will say for me, some of the bad stuff in this episode was clearly the stunt work. Like the stunt work itself was not great. And some of the cinematography during the fight scenes wasn't great. And there was a lot of prop stuff, like the blocks, the cinder blocks, and some of the stuff in the fight scenes. It looked like foam and styrofoam. I didn't think that was great. I didn't like Ruby Rose's American accent. We've talked about this before. It's something we've gone into. So yeah, it wasn't a great episode, and that's fine. You can hate it for not being a great episode. Period. Like that, there doesn't need to be other stuff. Like I feel like people create things so they don't have to like it. So it justifies why they don't like the series. Guess what? You could just not like it, and that's it.
Yeah. Like the thing is that, and I've said this to a couple of people that they've been like, oh, well, the pilot didn't interest me that much, or I just thought it was average to below average. So I was like, that's fair enough, but a decent amount of the pilots are, or there's massive issues with the pilot that they change into episode 2, because you remember they filmed the pilot and then there's like 4 months until they film the next episode. So you'll notice next week in next week's Batwoman episode, some of the sets might look different. Right. Some of the costumes might look different. A lot of the stuff, like the Batcave, could randomly look different next episode because they'll change it up.
I could tell the people. I could tell the people in the chat who didn't watch the episode. But anyway, go ahead.
What are they just
like tearing down Batman to build up Kate or build up Batwoman? Oh, yeah. If you watch the episode, you'll see that's not what happens.
Opposite. It's complete opposite, actually. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming Knives Millions didn't watch it, but yeah, like if I think back to like Supergirl's pilot episode was just, it was like, once again, it was just, they changed a lot going into episode 2. That's probably the best way to put it. It wasn't the greatest. Like Arrow, I remember Stephen Amell wasn't very good in the pilot episode. And then he just grew. I'm not saying in episode 2 it was fantastic after that, but he grew into that role by the end of season 1. You thought Stephen Amell was very good. But in episode 1, he's a bit, hey, not that great. Same with Melissa Benoist even in Supergirl's pilot episode, not that amazing. But yeah, even like Knives Millions things, like tearing down Batman. And that's the opposite. Like, well, the people that I've seen people like are trying to say that with the thing on the bridge, that's, yeah, Knives Millions. I was mainly referring to the trailers, not the episode. Well,
Okay.
rookie error, yikes. But the main thing where people were saying like that the show was like making Batman look bad was when he does the thing with the car on the bridge. And I was like, but the Joker was driving the school bus. That's why he left. Like he went after the Joker.
Yeah.
Like, that was the whole.
Yeah, and Knives, fair enough if you're talking about the trailers, but here's the thing: and I've said this in this stream now, the advertising for Batwoman was not good. It was bad. The early advertising,
everyone knows that,
was bad. After watching the episode, you will see that the advertising did not truly represent what the final product was, and that is their fault. I'm not giving them a pass for that.
Ironically, because so many people have been comparing it, like in regards to, I guess, the YouTube channels that are like bagging it, it's actually fairly similar to Captain Marvel.
No, it's the same
Marvel.
channels. It's the same channels. Yeah. So, I mean,
I'm talking about even just like the relationship between the trailers, which were pretty average for Captain Marvel, and people were blowing up about like, oh, it's this big SJW propaganda feminist thing. I don't know if you heard me knock my mic then. But then the movie comes out and it's just an average movie, slightly above average, maybe. It's exactly the same thing.
Here's the thing. Let's be fair about this, right? For me, this premiere was slightly above average in terms of a premiere episode, which is why I think I gave it a 7 out of 10 as my score. And I was skirting between a 6 and a 7, only because I didn't think it really wowed me, but I didn't think it was like, people are saying it's horrible. Fair enough if you didn't like it. I didn't see any egregious stuff in the episode other than some bad dialogue. And that was pretty much it. I mean, the stunt work and things, like even on Arrow, you have episodes where things are wonky. And maybe because it was a premiere, maybe they should have held it to a higher standard, but I don't know.
Well, even in The Flash today, there's dodgy wire work.
We're going to get to that. There's some other dodgy stuff.
Yeah, there's dodgy wire work and dodgy CGI. Like, for, you know, then I'm going to go on about that. So
Chainsaw says Batwoman is getting destroyed on Rotten Tomatoes as like everywhere else. Is obviously the people who didn't even watch the episode. No, I agree with you, Chainsaw. I mean, I'm not. Okay, so first of all, number one, I'm not here to defend Batwoman. If you watch my review, I had issues with the premiere. I don't like when people watch the trailer and just completely like form an opinion about the entire show based on that, then don't watch the show and then spend their time attacking the series when they don't even know. Like, fair enough if you watch the first episode and you didn't like it, good. But if you don't watch it and you continuously attack it, what do you do? Find something else you love. There's plenty of great things out there. You don't have to sit around and hate a show. Like, look at what happened with me and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I got people that ask me this all the time. Why didn't you finish reviewing last season? Because I didn't like it. I got tired of watching it. It wasn't fun. I don't like harping on things that I don't like. It's like what happened with Legends. I didn't review like 5 weeks of Legends because I just couldn't stand to watch it. And I don't understand the hate, like the people that hate something but constantly are drawn to it. I don't get that. It doesn't work for me. Anyway, so Batwoman as a series, I feel like it set up a good, like a foundation for something that could be cool. Like, I think there is a possibility of that. There are some things like I think the Crow storyline has the ability to like add more stuff later on in the series, like kind of like with Arrow and a lot of the stuff that happened in the earlier seasons 1 and 2 that kind of carried on throughout the whole series. I think the Crows could do that for Batwoman. There's a super chat here. Let me jump back up to that. It was about Batwoman. So Ganger Venom with a $2 super chat. He goes, how do you feel about Alice's intro this early on? I like that they did not hold off on that. I like that they went ahead and jumped into it.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because it takes literally pretty much anyone that watches the show to do a simple Google search and have the thing ruined for them.
Oh, yeah.
After watching the first episode. And I've seen, like, the reason that's, like, because if you look back at other villains and stuff like with Reverse Flash, say in Flash season 1, it's Eobard Thawne, but you don't know who Eobard Thawne is because there's no Eobard Thawne on the show.
Right.
In season 1 until it's actually revealed that this person is Eobard Thawne. Same with even Zoom in Flash season 2 and other stuff like that. So the fact that it just avoids people just doing a simple Google search and having that thing ruined for them after watching the first episode, the show just shows you at the end of the first episode that this person is that person.
So I personally thought Alice was one of the best parts of the show, and she wasn't even great. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like she did a better job than most of the other characters. I think there's promise in her character. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
I think she could have been a bit more like theatric, maybe. Like, she seemed a bit too normal, if you know what I mean.
Do you think they might play that up in later episodes? Maybe give her a chance to sort of go a little crazy?
Maybe, but like she is meant to be a bit more like over the top in the comics and stuff like that. But maybe they were just trying to make it like not go too that far, maybe. I'm not too sure. But it's comic accurate in regards to
Urban Noise Music said if Batwoman was handled by the people behind Jessica Jones with a different lead actress, then it would be on another level. I think I don't know. I'm so like the overload of like people that just adamantly hate the series has made it so I don't even know if I could think outside the box with Batwoman anymore, because it's just, I don't think there's any way to make everyone happy. You know what I mean? And Urban Noise, I agree with you. I think Jessica Jones had a really good thing with that, with that series in terms of like the people behind the scenes and everything. I don't know if it would work with this show. We've talked about this before, that not even like a showrunner moving from one series to another isn't guaranteed to make it better. Like there's certain showrunners that connect with a series and they just understand that show. And,
Yeah, actually, we'll just quickly, are we moving on from Batwoman after this?
We are. Now? Yeah.
One more thing. Brett the Saint wrote, Ruby Rose almost got paralyzed from an accident from filming the show, so I'm sure you know that already.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any of those YouTube channels that made about 3 videos after she had to pull out at Comic-Con due to that. And they she's embarrassed to go to Comic-Con, or the show's making her not go there because of the controversy. She didn't go because she almost
you mean they didn't do an addendum type video to make
like saying, right? Sorry, we said like Cucks and Gamers, that redhead chick who shows too much cleavage but isn't hot, so it's a bit awkward. Right. And that other girl who I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Like those channels like that didn't even just like not even like make like an apology video, because I wouldn't even expect that. Right. I don't think it really was ever in the realm of the possibilities. But even just saying like, oh yeah, I take back that statement where I said that she was embarrassed to turn up, or the studio was embarrassed to turn up and stuff like that. Because the girl almost got paralyzed. Right. So
hello, Amethyst.
Made yourself look a bit of a dickhead.
Yeah, good to see you, Amethyst. Chainsaw Reacts, wonder how long until Luke becomes Batwing. Maybe wait a while before we even get hints of it. Is he supposed to become Batwing in the series? Or is that just like
they said something at Comic-Con about it. I think they said it was like hints at it or something like that, but I don't think they said it was like a clear thing that's what they're going to do with the character.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think they still, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like they might, but I don't think it's necessary. If anything, they might just keep it Batwoman for a while instead of trying to force in a sidekick or
would
a side
it be
superhero.
Interesting if there wasn't a team Batwoman for a while, because I feel like they do that with every series. So you know what I mean? Like they have a team of characters for everyone. So
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how long they go without. I don't think they're going to go too long without people finding out. But the thing is that hey, I don't know how long they're going to keep it a secret that her dad doesn't know that she's Batwoman, because in the comics he knows. Like that's the whole point. He's basically what Luke Fox is doing.
Right. All right. So before we move on from Batwoman, and I just dread even asking this question. You know how we do every time the shows are on. Based on the first episode of Batwoman, everybody in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, here we go.
What would you guys give Batwoman? Be honest, like if you guys thought it was a 2, give it a 2. But a scale of 1 to 10, chat, what would you give Batwoman? I'm not even gonna look right. I'm just gonna put my head down for a minute. I don't even know if I want to. Am I afraid to look? I don't know. Oh God. Wait for it. It's got that little delay. 7.57. Well, okay, that's not bad. 5, 7, 6.7. So, okay. So I mean, I saw like a 6 of it. Wow, an 8. So all of the stuff in the chat now, I'm getting like all these decent scores. 1, okay, there we go. 4, 7, 7.5, 6.5. Okay, seems fair enough. All right, so we are going to move on to Supergirl and talk about that. Let's see. Oh, wow, that picture is way small. Didn't expect that. All right, there we go. All right, so the Supergirl episode was titled Event Horizon, which is a great movie, by the way. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that or not. Hey, what's up, Adrian? How are you doing? So I've got some notes here for Supergirl. These are pretty quick notes, and mostly Flash stuff as expected. So jumping into Supergirl, I'm going to kind of bounce around a little bit here. So we had the villain of Midnight in this episode, which I was looking forward to because I was hoping they were going to do something really cool. And I think, to me, she was kind of a waste. What do you think? I thought it was kind of a waste of time.
I was like, I even saw people saying like, oh, is she going to be the villain for the first half? It's like she comes in, she looks very threatening. And even like they talk about her powers and stuff, and then, oh, she was there for like literally like maybe like lucky for like 2.5 minutes of screen time.
I didn't feel like, I mean, I got why, like she was she was against John. I got that, and I understood why, but then they didn't really do much with it.
Yeah, like I thought like the setup for her was cool and interesting, and it made a lot of sense as to why she would be there and why Malefic would have let her out and stuff like that. I thought, okay, that's cool, that makes sense. And then she's just gone. I
will say this though, out of all the VFX in the episode, I think she had the best one, like the best effects. I think there was a lot of really bad stuff in the episode. Hers was really good though in comparison. Look, Candagraph says, when I was on set, I got the impression Midnight was going to be much. She didn't get main cast security. Wow. Okay. So I guess we won't be seeing her back either. She's probably gone.
Into the Phantom Zone.
Which is weird because she was so powerful. And I started thinking, like, how did John defeat her by himself originally? But all of Team Supergirl couldn't. Like, am I missing something with that? Was there something that I missed in the episode? Because she said that he's the one that locked her away. And I'm like, okay, well, that means he defeated her. But how did he defeat her by himself is my question.
She came to Mars, so maybe it was just that she got overcome and he was like the leader of the group that maybe overcame her.
Yeah, he had to have help. He couldn't have done it by himself, right? I mean,
so I'm guessing that's what it was. Yeah. So, but he was like the face, like she's the face. He's like the one that she would remember.
Well,
he ordered her to be put away and stuff.
Yeah, see, so Candagraph said the same thing. Yeah, I believe that's the consensus that we're going to come to, but they didn't make it very clear in the episode. They made it seem like her agenda was specifically against him and him alone. Yeah. So, where was I going with that? Oh no, I had a brain fart here. Like I totally lost my train of thought. All right, so Midnight, totally wasted. We probably won't see her back. There was a super chat. That's it. That's what I was going to do. Super chat next. It was from Victor D. Chinchilla. He says, is Andrea Rojas going to be a creator from the comics or a Leviathan? I wondered that myself, and maybe Canadagraphs has seen something that we haven't seen. Based on what she's doing right now on the show, I don't know how she would connect to any of that. Right? I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going in that direction with her. Do you think they're going in that direction with her? I feel like they're not.
I don't know, because to be honest, I don't really care about the character.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I said about her in my review was I feel like she's just filling that void of a boss that butts heads with Kara. I mean, that's pretty much what
and just to add tension, and it's also a segue, or not a segue, but a way for James Olsen to lead the show.
Right. So Canadagraphs is confirming that she is, but that's so weird. Like, how are they going to transition into that? I don't know.
Who knows? Surprises incoming, I guess.
I just feel like the idea of a boss that butts heads with Kara is, I mean, we've, with the exception of James, who did to some degree butt heads with her, but every other season we've had somebody that's majorly butted heads with Kara. So, funny how he never mentioned her involvement in the White Martian.
Wait, so they're saying, so they're changing Akrata to Andrea. No, so she is going to be Akrata.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What saying?
Yeah,
Okay, sweet. Don't worry then. Yeah. I thought he might have been saying that because I think the actress that plays Eve Tessmacher's name is Andrea as well. And I got confused that they were swapping name. I thought that would be controversial if they do that.
Yeah.
Because it's a Hispanic character in the comics. So
Chainsaw is saying mentioning the white. Yeah, no, exactly. That's unusual for Supergirl. Funny how he never mentioned her involvement with Tag. Yeah, it's retcon for sure. So she does become a Krata eventually. All right, well, fair enough. Thank you for the heads up. All right, so we'll move on to the next part, which is I was going to talk about Rojas. So she's also, I guess, in charge of the Obsidian Tech company, which is like one floor down from Catco, which is kind of weird.
One floor up.
Really?
I don't know. It could be either.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, isn't that weird? I feel like that's weird. Why would a tech company be in the same building as like a newspaper company? It just seems weird.
And be like on the lower level. Yeah. I don't know. As soon as I said that, I was like,
because
fair enough, they bought out the building.
Normally, engineer places or science places have their own individual place because not only for security reasons, but for safety reasons. If you're designing tech one floor down from a bunch of people that work on a newspaper, do you realize how dangerous that is? It just seemed really strange to me. Maybe I've been out of the corporate world for too long, like in terms of like understanding it, but it just seemed really odd. I was like, okay. And they're in the same building and then she buys Catco. Because Kara's like, I think you're a floor off or something. And I'm like, that's so weird. Okay, anyway. So
wow. Did you just get the big reveal in the comments section?
What? Which one?
From Bart.
Where?
Can you see it? Bart Allen.
No, I don't see it. Where am I looking at?
Maxwell Lord apparently is in apartment 4.
Oh, okay. I see. I had to scroll down.
Thought I'd let you know because you've been asking for seasons upon seasons.
I would love for him to come back, but at this point, I like the game of him not being there.
Like the mystery.
Yeah. Hold on. Where's that at? Okay. So Ganger Venom also $2 super chat. Obsidian Tech HQ is located in apartment 4. Okay. So the apartment 4 thing
I didn't even read the super chat there.
Is taking over the internet. Thank you for the super chat there. Berthal would steal the show. Honestly, you mean steal like as in like take it away from everybody else? I think that's what you mean. Okay, so speaking about the Obsidian stuff, this VR thing with the contacts. Any thoughts on that? How do you feel about that? Like,
it's okay. As I said, like I'm still going to need a couple of episodes to get along with this technology storyline because I guess it's interesting premise, but it doesn't really grip me at this stage. But I don't know, have to wait and see.
So we also, it looks to be maybe this season they'll change it up a little bit, but Brainy and Nia and Alex and Kelly are again their relationship, like all the months where you would have seen the formative stuff, like where they're getting to know each other, we just skipped over all of that. We skipped it all, and now we're in like the second phase of all of their relationships. So we missed all the building blocks. So now we have Alex and Kelly who seem to be going swimmingly well. The Nia and Brainy stuff is okay. Clearly Brainy has an issue with it. I think it's kind of weird that Supergirl is the one show where the lead character doesn't have a relationship. Not that I'm complaining about it, but it's 2 seasons now. Are we going to have another season of Kara without a partner? I mean, it's a little weird.
Oh, well, ask Canada Graphs why that wouldn't be, because he'll probably give you a good answer.
Oh, I already know. He's probably typing something up right now. So we also
something involving a dog and walking.
So I saw somebody talk about this about James or whatever. So Makad is leaving the show.
He's currently in Australia filming Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So I think Guardian's a done thing. Like, I think he's going to be, when he leaves, Guardian's going to go and we won't see him again. Because let's be honest, they never really did much with the character. They could have, but they didn't. So yeah, James Olsen will be leaving the show, which is weird because he's been around since the beginning, but I've been saying this for 2 seasons now. There's nothing left for him on the series. There's no storyline left for him. If he's not going to be out in the field or part of the DEO, like anything he does outside of that, there's nothing there. So how do you feel about that? Do you feel like it's time for him to go? I mean, I feel like he should have been gone like a season ago.
He should have been gone a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up with the two big things. So Lena Luthor, I feel like she had some great scenes in this episode, but I feel like she's a little bit off. Does she feel a little off to you? She feels a little off to me in terms of her motivations and the way she's acting with Kara. I'm feeling like there's something going on with her in that VR simulator thingy, that tech that she talks to. I don't know. It feels like maybe I just don't want to believe it, but I don't feel like Lena would react the way she's reacting with Kara. I feel like she'd take a different path with her. What do you think? Like wanting to just destroy Supergirl. I feel like it's going from one extreme to another. Like I get that she's mad about it, but Lena is not a hothead, really. Lena's very smart and level-headed. I think going to that extreme of destroying Supergirl feels a little bit out of character for her, to me.
Yeah, I think it like I think when it, like the Kara reveals her identity to Lena and she all of a sudden like just went 180. I thought it was a bit weird, but I didn't think it was going to go back the other 180. And then she's so fierce about it. I thought it'd just be like there'd be tension around that.
There's a lot of games going on with them right now.
Yeah, but like yeah, you can. Yeah, I think if you were to say like, oh, maybe it's a bit too far, I wouldn't argue against that because it does seem it's maybe going a couple of levels too much. But
I will say the best scene of the whole episode is a scene that most people would not expect me to say is the best scene, but it was a scene between Kara and Lena when she was like admitting that she was Supergirl. I thought that was the best acting we've seen from Melissa ever. I think in that scene, because I actually felt like she was legitimately talking to a best friend. You know. And it's like you're telling someone that you've known for a long time that you kept something from them because you thought it was best for the two of them. And then you find out you screwed up. And, you know, I don't know. What did you think of that scene? Did you like that scene between Melissa and Kate?
Yeah, I thought it was the best scene. I think I wrote in my notes as like best scene in episode. Not in the episode, just in episode.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so
I don't think anything else came to that level.
Supergirl suit, love the redesign. The CGI VFX were wonky on that when she put it on. And speaking of the glasses to activate the suit, she took off her glasses to talk to Lena. Nothing happened. She took them off the next couple scenes and the suit came on. I was like, okay, so how does this work? Like, I don't understand. Like, what activates it? Is it like the motion of her pulling them off, or what is it?
Yeah, I didn't understand. I was like, why was it on the glasses? That made no sense to me.
But Brainy said to you, next time you take off your glasses, be careful because your suit will come on when you pull them off or whatever. And the very next scene is when she's talking to Lena and she takes the glasses off and the suit doesn't pop on. But then a scene later, she takes the glasses off and the suit pops on. I don't know. Can't agree. So I think she has to take them off by the point that Brainy touched, possibly, maybe. I don't know. Either way, if we ever see that,
how does it just spring to her hand?
Yeah, when it's on the glasses, right? So that doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I thought it would have made sense.
Comic book logic. Look, Flashpoint.
I know it sounds weird, but if it was even like put on one of her teeth or something, or like it was like a what do you call them? Like a contact lens or something.
Yeah. By the way, Sam, I see your super chat.
Bracelet.
I see your super chat. We'll talk about that in between this and the Flash. So just give me a minute. We're almost done with Supergirl. Let's see. Next notes. By the way, I don't think we're going to get much of the VFX of her suit going on and off. It's going to be like the Flash ring, basically, I think. So we'll probably never see that scene again. If we do,
I think the next time you'll probably see it is in Crisis.
Yeah.
They'll probably do one of them in Crisis.
My next note here is John's brother, Malefic, I thought was a pretty good addition to the show. There's a lot of people saying they didn't understand the scene at the beginning with the kids in the museum, and they thought that the dinosaur toy was turned into like a real dinosaur, and I'm like, no, clearly it was a shapeshifter. But apparently I think somebody said Ben's video referenced like the controlling of the dinosaur or something. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to watch it. So. What was that?
Yeah, it just turns into a dinosaur, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, apparently in Ben's video, somebody put this in my comment section, that Ben said that the girl turned the dinosaur and made it alive.
No, I'm pretty sure Malefic looked at the dinosaur, then just turned into that dinosaur.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But like somebody was telling me I was wrong in my comment section because of Ben's video. So I was like,
well yeah. Ben's a bit special. Let's just be completely honest. Ben's not all there.
Overall, we were talking about wonky VFX and CGI and stuff on Batwoman and wire work and everything. I think Supergirl was egregious as well. Outside of the dinosaur at the beginning and the stuff with Midnight, I think all the other VFX were bad for Supergirl. Like I didn't like any of them. Like when John got tripped, like leg swept, and then he flew up into the black hole. If you go back and you watch that and like do it in slow motion and watch him getting sucked up, it's hilarious.
It looks like you know, like the meme, like what's that? The shooting stars meme where they're flying through space and spinning.
Yeah.
It looked like that.
Yeah.
Got inspiration from that, obviously.
So Defunct said it's bad form to not be able to get through a live stream without talking about content creator, in my opinion. So here's the thing, right? Ben is friends with me, and we joke with each other all the time in that way. So
Warstu on the other hand.
like Ben will literally see this and laugh about it, and we'll probably talk about it tomorrow. So please chill on like the hate. Like there's no hate. It's just a joke. Okay, so Supergirl, this episode, Event Horizon. Chat, what do you give it on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, what are your thoughts on it? 1 to 10, Supergirl's premiere. I thought it was pretty solid. I didn't think it was great. Again, an episode that is fine. I thought it was one of the better premieres for Supergirl, but I still think it didn't feel like a premiere to me. What did you think? Did it feel like a premiere to you? It was a good episode, I thought, but I don't know. It didn't feel like a premiere to me. Maybe I'm weird.
It didn't feel like it. It felt like an episode 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for sure.
It didn't feel like a thing that set up a couple of different plot points. Mm-hmm. It felt like an episode 2, whereas if something had happened before, we were just continuing it on.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So while we're between shows, I had a super chat from Sam. What's up, Sam? He said, just saw Joker. That movie is mental, dude. I loved the realistic view of how someone like the Joker could come to be so dark, but that's DC Comics. Thank you for the $5 super chat. So briefly, I will say this. As you guys know, if you'd been watching my live streams and et cetera, you would know that I was not the biggest fan of the idea of the movie. I like the Joker being a mysterious character, and I thought he worked best with Batman. However, I've seen the movie twice. I think it's a great film. It's definitely not like any other like superhero or comic book movie that you've ever seen. I would say it's like exactly what they said it was going to be. It's a character study. Would you agree with that? It's definitely a character study of someone going down the rabbit hole, basically.
Yeah, and it's done very, very well. To be honest, I think some other people in this stream were thinking the same thing. Was like, how is Eric's Marvel cuck mind going to contain this movie, or just look upon this movie without the Marvel cuck glasses?
Right.
Eric is currently wearing the DC cuck glasses. They're the ones he wears on Tuesday night for Flash.
It's got their. This is where they pay me right here. It's like a little chip, and every time I say something good about one of their products, they just put it in the little old Cash App and take care of it there.
Yeah. The Marvel ones are, I think they're Iron Man influenced, but they have like little Captain America shields, so you'll be able to tell. Yeah. I think he only wears them on Friday nights. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the super chat, guys. All right, here we go. We are going to talk about the Flash season 6 premiere, which is Into the Void, which is appropriate if you saw the episode. All right, so I would say coming into this, there was a lot of pressure on the Flash to redeem itself after last season. And the first thing that I wrote in my notes here for this, before we get into like Savage Donuts, we'll talk about that in a second. First thing I wrote in my notes is, and you tell me if you agree or disagree with me, this episode to me felt more like a season 1, season 2 type episode than anything we've gotten over the last few seasons. Would you agree with that? Or what do you think? Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't like that. I think every character was handled well. Arguably, the character that you could argue did the least, and you could say, "Oh, I forgot they were even in the episode," would be maybe Joe. Because Cecile has memorable moments. Like that line she says to Cisco made me laugh out. Like literally, lol.
Right.
I laughed out loud. The thing where like she's like, "Okay, then you can walk," and just the way she said it made me laugh. yeah, I think like every character, I think, was in their place. Yeah, I really have,
I don't know,
nothing
something
to go
about
against your
this.
statement there.
So number one, you can definitely tell there's a new showrunner. Clearly. I mean, the vibe of the show, like no pun intended there, but the vibe of the show definitely feels like that Eric Wallace understands what people wanted from The Flash in this one episode. I mean, put it this way. I feel like in this episode, I'm more excited for this season than either of the last two season premieres, 4 or 5. Because I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened in this episode, if you think about it. I mean, it really was. So let's jump into Cisco first. I want to talk about Cisco first. So last season, Cisco took the cure, got rid of his powers, and we thought it was because Carlos was leaving the show and he was going to go to do something else. And as much as I hated that being the way for him to leave, it made the most sense for him to leave because he gave up his powers. He wants to go be with his girlfriend and they're going to move on and do other things. So if that was the way they were going to, that's fine. But you take away your powers and then you keep working at Star Labs with superheroes. I don't think I will ever get over that. That's rubbed me the wrong way as a viewer. What do you think about that? I love Cisco. I don't want him gone, but I think taking away his powers now doesn't make much sense. He's still in danger, even more in danger now than he was before because he doesn't have powers. Yeah.
And that just proves that he was like, there was issues about whether he was staying or going. And the thing is that at the end of the season, it made you wonder why they went down that road, because they were pretty much at a fork at the road in those last handful of episodes, and they could have gone either way, and it still would have led to him being in next season because it sounded like he was going to stay there anyway. Mm-hmm. So they could have gone down the road where they did cure him, which did happen, or they could have kept his powers, but maybe they felt that they'd spent so much time on the storyline they had to cure him. Mm-hmm. Maybe they felt that there was some interesting story they could do the following season with him not having his powers. Right. But it would have been interesting to see if he was going to stay regardless and there was no issues last season with his contract, whether they went down the storyline at all.
So I expected just kept him with his powers. Some people to sort of defend Cisco's story, like hero's journey here. I get it. You want to defend him. You say it's a science building. He's an engineer. He helps science like Caitlin. I'm not. So you're misunderstanding where I'm coming from here. I'm not questioning Cisco's ability to help the team. I think Cisco is an invaluable member of the team.
He didn't season 1.
It just doesn't make sense that his entire reason for giving up powers was so that he could get away from being in danger. And then he goes right back to the team. He's working with them again as if nothing has happened except he doesn't have powers. That makes no logical sense. It doesn't matter how you write it in. It just doesn't make any sense. So the fact that he's there, I'm happy about. I love him. I think he's a great part of the team. He's a character who, if he left, it would have been a huge hole in the show. But giving up his powers felt like, okay, he wants to move on and do something else. Not, let me give up my powers and then stay in Star Labs. And now I'm even in more danger because now I can't even teleport people away when they need help. So, Victor Chinchilla with a $4.99 super chat. Will these season Flash oddness or unexplained events will be due to crisis effect, so as all are messing with the time to find recruits? So are you asking if the Flash is gonna have events that are unexplained because of crisis, because of Oliver messing with time to find recruits? I think everything we're gonna get, or at least I know the next episode of the Flash is, like, from what I've read, is a big crisis episode, correct?
Next episode.
Right. And that coincides with the first episode of Arrow.
Yeah, so, or it could be bait.
Right. Because they're back to back. So it kind of, I would not be surprised if there's something in the Flash that sets up something for Arrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then Arrow elaborates on it more or something like that.
Fresh sounds Florida said it's Flash writing logic, Eric. No, I think they screwed up, honestly. I do. I think he was going to leave the show and they needed to find a way for that to happen. And then they worked something out and now he's back. And they're literally just going to run with it. He may actually get his powers back. You know, that may happen. I mean, this has happened before. Defunct says, for me, they changed his character so completely last season. He became super annoying. Maybe that's his new superpower. I would say back half of last season, Cisco was pretty annoying. But I think that's because they were trying to give him like this attitude if he wanted to leave, which is why it doesn't make sense that he's still there. And the fact that there's been such a big gap in time from the end of last season to the beginning of this season. Cisco's in a weird place for me. I'm glad he's there. I think his storyline is ridiculous, though. That's just my personal opinion. I hope they do something good with him this season. Okay, so let's jump over and talk about Bloodwork. So he seems like a promising villain. He seems intimidating enough. But I think he's just meant to be the first half villain, right? He's not going to go on past Crisis. Is that right?
Yeah, he's gone in episode 8. He's done. Like, the guy's gone and he's filming another show now. Mm-hmm. I think he's signed up for another one after that as well.
So I'm going to assume that they're going to rush through his storyline, but that's good though, because that means less filler episodes. If they're going to have,
I don't even think it's necessarily rushing. I think it's just putting his story just in 8 episodes.
Right.
So it's pretty much like, just like if you think the story that Eric Wallace referenced was the Thinker story. Like if you think back to all the Neil Sanderland stuff, that could have all been put into like an 8-episode arc, or even a 12-episode arc if you wanted to put it in the back half, and it would have been a much better story, obviously, because you'd have to deal with all the random body swaps and stuff like that. So with this, it just means this next week. I don't know how much blood work's going to be in there because it is so crisis heavy. But there might be like a bit in there, maybe like 5-10 minutes of him,
right?
If we're lucky. But I like how they just pretty much made him Bloodwork at the end of the episode. They didn't make it, in episode 4 or 5 he becomes Bloodwork.
Right.
He's Bloodwork in this episode, and we're going wham bam in the next handful of episodes, and you're going to see him do some stuff.
So Hero's Journey is talking about Bloodwork being an anti-villain or a villain trying to do something good but in an evil way. I don't think he's an anti-villain. I think he's...
Yep.
What would you say?
I just think he's a villain. He was just trying to help himself. He called his mum a coward. He's trying to help himself and stop himself from dying.
Yeah, the conversation he was having with Caitlin at Jitters shows that he's doing it because he wants to live. Not because
he's got the disease.
Right.
He's got HLH. He got it from his mum. And that's probably why he has some disdain for his mother as well.
Right.
Because she passed down this disease to him.
Yeah.
So he's going to die from it.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm happy with the whole Bloodwork thing. We got a couple super chats here. Let's see. Flashpoint and Mike Horan. We're going to get to yours in a second. I'm going to go with the Ganger Venom one because it is about Cisco. We've already talked about him, but he's got a $2 super chat. It says, "Why did Cisco suggest murder before the Medicure?" I guess you're talking about last season, right? With Cicada, right? Is that what we're talking about? Why he suggested murder before the Medicure? I don't. His character was so weird at the end of last season. I feel like a lot of the stuff that he did was out of character, and I just prefer to just not think about it. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, he was out of character for like the last 5 or 6 episodes.
Is this Cisco?
Yeah, why he was like the whole murder thing versus Medicure thing.
Yeah, I just forget about it.
I feel like they were trying to write him out, and they decided not to. And
yeah, they just got confused when I got to the end of it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump over to the... Let's jump over to the Caitlin and Killer Frost stuff. I feel like they took a step back with her character in this premiere.
Yeah, I don't know why they did the whole thing where Frost was now like sheltered inside of her. So you just took out progression from last season.
Because
it felt weird to me.
We were at a point last season where they were almost coexisting in the same body.
Yeah.
And now we're back to this whole the same body but split again.
Like what happened in the off season that made her go all shell? Are they going to reveal that? Because it just feels like this should have been. This was something that would have happened like middle of last season or something,
right?
Not after what happened last season.
Yeah, because
I don't know why they did that.
Because we had scenes last season that I even complained about, where you had Killer Frost and Caitlin was like, "Oh, look out behind you" and stuff like that, and it's like they were existing in the same body, so it wasn't like one of them was living and the other one wasn't. So I don't understand why we have now we're back to like season 4, where they were two different things. I feel like Killer Frost, we're going to go back when this show is over. If you try to watch the Killer Frost story as it progresses through season to season, you're going to be so completely confused. It's not going to make any sense.
Yeah. I have a feeling maybe Eric Wallace just tried to not necessarily retcon, but just tailor things so he can tell his story this season, because I think he knows that, who was it, Todd Hilbing just wasn't
Right.
very good.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't like straight out said those were crap, but he's sort of like shaded them.
It's almost like a soft
producers on
reboot
it
to
as
the
well.
character, right? I would feel like this is Eric Wallace kind of rebooting the screwed up stuff that happened last season, maybe.
Yeah, just tinkering things so they work with whatever he wants to say. So I'm not going to base anything off what we've seen previously. I'm just going to base it off what we have this season, because I think he's changing stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because let's be completely honest, Todd Helbing and the Helbing brothers just went very good.
Yeah. So let's see. Flashpoint Wolf, we are getting to yours. Do not worry. But Mike Horan has a $2 super chat. Rush through the episode. What's up with Godspeed robots? So I was going to talk about Godspeed running around the city. What are your thoughts? I'm going to jump to you first. What are your thoughts on the way they're handling Godspeed now?
Well, I was very surprised when he took off the mask and it's the literal stuntman who's Godspeed. I was like, oh, well, why are you under there? And then when the noise came out, I was like, what the hell is going on here? The only thing I can think of is they're doing a weird take on Godspeed's powers where he can give them to people.
Yeah, but then they all have the suit too. Like, they're all in the suit.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I don't know.
Is he making costumes for them? Like, let me make you a costume as well. It just doesn't make much sense.
Unless they materialize, because I guess in the comics, the Godspeed suit materializes on himself. So maybe that's what happens. I don't know. It's going to be weird. The fact that there's been 4 Godspeeds there in 4 months, I guess, since the end of last season. Does that mean he's going to come back into things?
Like, if you're a Godspeed fan,
like
they've shaded you twice. If you're a Godspeed fan, I mean, they really have.
Yeah, but I think they really have, because they've sort of like, fair enough the first time, but I think that second time's made you go, hold on, well, there's been 4, so should we expect more? Because they wouldn't just end it there, because they really gave no backing as to why he's here. So yeah.
When we're talking about Godspeed, we need to talk about the VFX at the beginning of this episode, because that Godspeed chase scene looked like something from the 90s in terms of the way it was like constructed.
Yeah, pretty much most of the VFX in this episode and firework was a bit, how you going, not very good.
There's another one we'll talk about when we get to it, and I know exactly what you're talking about, but I just think it's the egregious VFX that we had, and it always happens in the daytime. It's like, I was
gonna say, it's probably good. It's daytime VFX.
Like, just give us like early evening, give us a good dusk fight, and then that's good. But the daytime stuff, especially with that white suit, it just looked so. It was like a cartoon, but a bad one. It was weird. So, all right, let's move on. We'll go ahead and talk about Iris now, because of we got Flashpoint Wolf. So you had a question about Iris, but you said, just take money for being awesome, a $4 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. So let's talk about your question. You said, wait, what's this? Iris is good again with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. So let's get this controversy with Iris out of the way. We'll go ahead and talk about it now. I think that the setup for what Iris is going to have this season, it actually has me kind of excited for what they're going to do with her, if they follow through with what they're setting up. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because Iris has been such a poorly handled character in so many times, like so many seasons, that I feel like this season, Eric Wallace, at least in my opinion, seems to understand what Iris should be doing as a character based on what we got in this episode. Would you agree with that or disagree with that?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, the thing is that there's still tiny issues where, like, Iris is randomly in Star Labs when they've talked about doing the newspaper stuff, but it is only episode 1. Like, if it's in episode 2 and 3 and they've promised the newspaper stuff and she's still in Star Labs, then a bit of an issue. But just in stuff that's happened, like when Eric Wallace has talked about the show, now he's talked about Iris, you can tell that he knows where the character needs to go and where she should be and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And even just this episode, you can tell that she's probably going to have, maybe not an amazing season, I'm not saying a 9 or a 10 out of 10, but at least a decent season of a 7 out of 10, which is probably going to be her best since season 1. Like, let's be completely honest. Like, she's been terribly written in season 4 specifically, and half of season 3, she got caught. Like, I don't think there was anything that Candace could have done. Like, Candace does as best as she can, I think, with what she's given. Whether she cares about certain things is another question. But post like
we could talk. We
like
could
when you
talk
get to
about that. What's going on behind the scenes with her, but we're just going to stay away from that. So go ahead.
like when you get into that back half of season 3, and then all of season 4, which was pretty bad for her, and then season 5, which was I think wasn't really Iris's fault. I think it's more Nora and the dodgy writing around that. That sort of, and it just bringing Iris into that, unfortunately, and just you can't really do too much about that.
Right.
She hasn't had a good run, and the thing is that like regardless of whether you hate the character or you just don't like the writing, if you like Iris and you liked her when she was written terribly, well, what are you going to be like when she's written well? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in season 1 and like season 2 as well, but specifically season 1, she was written well and she fit the show. She was like the like what's the I guess like the eyes to Central City. Like she was Central City. While we're with the Flash and he's like Star Labs and all of that, she was the eyes to Central City. And with Joe, we get a bit of that, but you only get like the law side of that. You don't get a lot of it. But with Iris, you got everything. And they've said that they're going to do that, especially in the back half, where she's basically diving into like the underground, if you want to call it, of Central City and all of that. But well, let's just say all of season 3, outside of like her trying to find weapons in one episode, literally all of season 4 and pretty much all of season 5, there was none of that. And she wasn't Iris. She was Candice Patton playing random Star Labs employee number 3. That's pretty much what she was in those seasons.
Yeah.
And I've said that, and people said like, "Oh, that's you hating on the character." I was like, "No, that's criticism of the writing, not criticism of Candice Patton," because I think she tries her best, whether she cares about certain. And you can tell in the past like 2 seasons, maybe 3, if you want to make it a stretch, she hasn't cared about the show. She's never promoted it. She put out like 10 different Instagram stories today promoting this first episode. So she obviously cares about it, and she's promoted it before this episode even came out. So she cares about it now.
And I think it has to do with maybe Eric Wallace and her had a sit-down conversation about like where they want to go with this character. Maybe she had input on it. I feel like she's more committed now than she has been for the last 2 seasons. At least from my perspective.
Even if she didn't have like an effect on where the story went, like Eric just told her, "Yo, this is what's going to happen in episode 1. This is where you'll be by episode 7. This is where you'll be by episode 22 when we get there." And she's probably like, "Man, bang, that's what I want to do." So she's probably in for it. And
Canada
like, if I was her and I was getting all the crap I was getting, and you knew you were still going to get paid, you just phone it in if you didn't really care about what's happening. And that's pretty much what was happening in the previous season. She was given crap, and if you still, they're not going to fire Iris West off the show. Let's be completely honest.
This is like a question for you, Pagey. What happened to Silk the Speedster villain? That's more up your alley. Didn't you do a video about that once, or talking about that?
Oh, it's Ultra. I already replied to who was it? I think it was Zoko. I think.
Yeah, I thought you did. So that's what I'm wondering.
It's Ultraviolet in episode 6. People think Ultraviolet for some reason is Red Death. So there's literally people that made videos saying it was Red Death. So go attack them.
Canada, my take from the whole stream, Pagey thinks Candice Patton is a random Star Labs employee number 3. Okay. Cool story.
Oh, sorry. Number 4. Sorry.
So I will say this, though. Like, I understand why, if Candice was in fact, and again, this is all speculation, guys. I understand why she would be upset with the storylines from the past couple seasons. I'm glad that she's on board with Iris this season, because other than a few obnoxious moments in the episode where she ran in and just had the answer to everything, I feel like her doing this reporting and investigating and all those things is exactly where her character should be. At least I think so. And I think, was it Defunct says that they've confirmed that they're not going to make Iris pregnant this season. So Eric
Wallace said he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. And I agree with that. Like, I think that's a dumb idea. So, yeah. So Iris, 2 thumbs up from me. Just keep this story going and I'll be pretty happy. All right, let's talk about the new suit. Talk about the new Flash suit. So it's funny, we were watching it, right? And the very next scene, all of a sudden, Barry's wearing the new suit. And I know Cisco said something about getting the wiring that he needed from the gauntlets and et cetera, et cetera. But then literally, it's just like commercial break, comes back in the new suit. Did I miss something?
Make sense.
I haven't watched it back. I feel like I missed something.
Literally made no sense. Literally made 0 sense. I was wondering what the hell was going on. Because I can understand if this was like 4 months after and we just had this, there's just a new suit there. But we came back 4 months later and he fought Godspeed in the season 5 suit. And then this would have been like, what, 2 days later, if that?
Right.
And he's got this new suit. So it didn't make sense.
So Nick says, I thought Barry's new suit was supposed to come from a future Flash ring, or was that just a rumor from one of those Instagram accounts? I never heard that it was going to come from a Flash ring, so if you did, it was obviously from one of those accounts or whatever.
The rumor was that it came from one of the other rings that Nora would have brought back, or that Nora had.
Yeah, Hero. Yeah. I got the fact that Cisco's the one that did the suit and everything, but there was no big reveal of the suit. Like, here's this cool new suit, and the camera pans in on it or something. There was nothing.
And just the fact that he wore the season 5 suit to take on that Godspeed literally like a day before,
right?
In their time. So
yeah. So, but I do love it. I think it looks really good. I think the chin strap looks amazing. It's the best chin strap they've had, which I think is awesome. It almost feels like it was 3D printed because it fits him so well. So I'm wondering if they actually scanned him and then printed something out to go into the suit.
Maybe.
I mean, it fits really well. So, let's see. Okay, so what did you think of Chester P. Runk? What did you think of that part of the episode?
I thought he was pretty good, and I think he's going to be back. I think he's actually going to be on Star Labs.
Some people were saying in Discord that they thought that he was going to be the new Cisco, that he's going to be able to teleport people through like the multiverse with his powers. Did you hear anything about that? Or I mean, it was in Discord. They're like, oh, he's probably going to teleport him because his powers.
I think there's a difference between a vibe and a difference between a black hole and a breach, though.
Well, I think they were saying in the comics because his powers allows him to teleport through dimensions that he'll be able to do it on the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he's a fun character. We're going to see what's going to happen. I mean, the show has so many characters. I'm like, we're adding another one. We're adding another character. Like, okay. So what do you think about the Mac device? Good question, Laura. I didn't even have that in my notes, but that's a good question. It's really weird to me that you would create a device that allows you to see possible futures when he could literally just run to the future. I mean, isn't that the whole point of the device?
You know what, though? I think, you know how, I'm sure you know there's meant to be like in like episodes 7 and 8 or both of them. There's meant to be like a thing where Barry sees like a potential blood work, puts him in like a potential reality where he could be where like his parents didn't die or something. That's what it looks like.
Right.
It wouldn't surprise me if blood work uses that, whatever it's like mental augmentative chamber. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
If he uses that to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand there's a setup for that, but if you think about it logically from their standpoint, isn't it technically the same thing as running to the future? I mean, it's technically the same.
Yeah, it seems like. And like, yeah, I don't know.
It's like I can run three days ahead in the future and see what we did. Or I can use this extremely complicated device to see possible futures. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a little weird. Okay, so with that being said, let us talk about the wonky wire work, the big finale part of the episode where he goes in to save or to rescue one half of Chester's brain or whatever. So I thought it was cool. I thought the Queen music was excellent. Actually, I think all the music this week was excellent on all the shows. They had some interesting music choices. But when that came on, it definitely got my blood pumping. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I didn't expect it. But that part where he's like running and jumping into the black hole, that was bad. That whole like the wire work, the VFX, it was just all so bad in that scene. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. This is season 6. Like, he's like this. Going through, I was like, what is this? Like, are we serious right now? It was just really, really bad. And I hope that this isn't some sort of budget cut for the episodes where it's like they start doing these kinds of things, because that was just, I don't know. It was a little weird. Plus, this is for all the science people out there, and I saw someone talk about this on Twitter. Black holes absorb things through gravitational waves. It's not like a vacuum cleaner sucking you in. So like when Ralph stretched to rescue that guy or whatever, that wouldn't work. Ralph himself would get caught in the gravitational wave. He couldn't pull him out because black hole is not like a vacuum cleaner. So sucking things up is not like sucking it into a vacuum. It's literally like bending time and space. That's how black holes work. So anyway, somebody was saying that on Twitter, and I'm like, it does make sense. But this is, I mean, we've had stuff like Iris jumping off a building and saving, Barry tied to a chair. So I mean, I guess anything is possible. What did you think? By the way, what did you think of that? Was it the VFX and stuff? Did you like it or did you not like it?
I thought it's just an issue that it's in daytime. Whenever there's daytime stuff with the Flash, because it has all the lightning and stuff, it never really looks that good.
Yeah. See, Defunct says it's like mega gravitational pull. It's all very unrealistic, but you get that. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It just, I thought it was unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just unnecessary to do that. All right, Nora stuff. We're going to wrap this up. Nora stuff. They spent a lot of time with Barry and Iris talking about it, and mostly Iris dealing with it, and Barry using, like, staying busy to, like, keep his mind off of it. Did you expect this coming back into this episode? Did you think we were still going to be holding on to that 4 months after it happened? Or did you think...
Yeah, I think we were. It just depends, like... Because I think, like, the way they put it was that, like, oh, they've been pretty much, like, sheltering or, like, containing their true feelings and just, I guess, like, trauma around it for these 4 months since everything happened.
Right.
And maybe the fact that they weren't able to look at that message from Nora added to that. But the biggest, I guess the interesting thing would be whether we keep going with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't expect them to drop it straight away. That'd feel a bit unnatural. But I also wouldn't expect it to keep being on their minds when the crisis should be on their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they shouldn't be worrying about, like, in like 2-3 episodes time, about their dead daughter would still be most likely lined up to exist.
Right.
And then just putting to the side the fact that, oh, the entire multiverse could be a risk, or specifically Barry could be dying in this amount of time. So it depends how they handle that. I have faith that they'll handle it correctly, but we'll have to wait and see in the next couple of episodes.
So, Russell, this week we had Batwoman, Supergirl, Black Lightning, apparently, which I forgot about because I thought that comes out next week, and The Flash. Next week is Arrow's premiere. And I thought it was going to, like, I thought for sure Black Lightning was going to premiere the same week as Arrow, but oh well. So Arrow's the only one that comes out next week. But so we only had the other 4 shows. Okay, so the Monitor stuff, I mean, we all kind of expected it. We knew that he was going to be in the episode and that he was going to set up Crisis. Everything sounded to me like, I don't want to act like, you know, a know-it-all or whatever, but I think we both kind of knew what the message was going to be. He was just going to reveal to them that Crisis was coming early, and that you know, that Barry was going to have to sacrifice himself. Everybody had been speculating that anyway, that Barry was going to have to do it. So I wasn't too shocked that that was the information that was revealed. So I mean, what do you think? Did any of that shock you, or?
No, not really. I think pretty much all of it. I was honestly expecting that maybe Barry might run to the future in that episode, but as soon as it was revealed that that was the end credit thing, right, I was like, okay, well, no, he's not going to do it because don't have that much time. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if maybe the Monitor shows up again, or if Barry's just without any intel from him until Crisis actually happens. But I have to wait and see.
Is it fair to compare CW CGI to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. CGI? Here's the thing, you guys, okay? And I can't believe I even have to say this. The CGI and VFX in this episode were worse than they have been in the past. So I'm not expecting more from them. I'm expecting it to be at the level that it's always been. There's no reason for it to downgrade on a show that pulls in almost 2 million viewers. So, I don't know. Okay, so overall, what did you think of this Flash premiere? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? I know you did a review on it. By the way, Pagey's review is up. But give me just a quick synopsis of what you thought of this episode.
I thought it was solid. I thought it set up what it needed to set up. I like the fact that they got to the point with blood work and actually made him blood work rather than trying to keep it to episode 3. You could argue that the Killer Frost stuff was an issue, but I have a feeling that, you know, Eric Wallace is just basically doing his own little soft reboot, so I'm fine with that. CGI was a bit dodgy.
Suit upgrade good. Like, I mean,
suit was good, but we seen it beforehand. But yeah, the way in which the suit comes about was a bit what's going on there. Didn't explain it that well.
People already giving scores. People already giving scores. We didn't even ask.
I'd probably give it like an 8.5. Right. Probably for a premiere, I'd probably give it a 9, but just for a normal episode, like just if I was just giving it an episode rating, 8.5. It was decent.
Yeah. So so I mean, I feel the same way. I pretty much agree with all your points. I will be glad when we get past the Nora stuff. I just we can't get away from her fast enough. I wish we could just go ahead and go into Flash time and get away from her. So anyway, I guess that's where we're going to wrap up all the CW stuff. If you guys have any other questions, drop it in the chat now, in the super chat. Some of these comments are freaking hilarious. So next week, Arrow returns, so we'll have so many shows to talk about. You guys, we're going to have to cut these conversations back by a lot. I'm going to have to make my notes even tighter, because now we've got like at least four, maybe 5 shows to discuss each week. That's a lot. So we're going to have to cut back. What did you think of the black hole CGI? I think I said already that it was kind of like, it wasn't great. So I personally felt like, and I said this at the beginning of the whole Flash thing, is that we need a Pagey joke. What is that? What kind of Pagey joke? Which Pagey joke are we talking about? Like, are you supposed to make a joke about me or something?
Well, okay, how about this? Every week I do a dad joke, a terrible dad joke. Do you want one?
Yeah, go for it.
Why did the golfer change his pants?
Don't know.
Because he got a hole in one. There we go. That's the... Look, if you want those continue, they're cringy as hell, but we continue them each week.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah, we'll do one a week. That's about all I can handle.
Yeah, one's enough.
Oh, God. So apparently there was since we're done with the CW stuff and you guys already gave your scores, did you know there's a crisis coming? No, I had no idea. I was completely lost on that one. So there was I think it was one of those websites we got this covered, or we lie about this, or whatever it is, said that Tom Hiddleston was getting Daredevil put back on Hulu or Disney Plus or something. And I was like, what is this about? And then, so my brother calls me and he's like, oh, did you hear the Daredevil is getting put on Disney Plus? And I'm like, what? How would I have missed that news? That would have been huge news if that would have happened. And then it ends up being from one of those other weird sites that I guess came from Instagram account or something. I feel like that kind of stuff makes our content, it's harder to do because we're dealing with all of these fake stories about our content that we have to answer or respond to. And it's just it's this never ending cycle of clickbait stuff. That's all it is. And I don't know how to tell people. I've said this, and you've said this many times before, random Instagram accounts and sites like Heroic Hollywood, and we got this covered. If they're the only ones reporting on it, triple check your sources. Honestly, don't just see those things and, and go, oh, that's what's happening then. I don't know. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's obviously we deal with it all the time, but.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't trust anything unless they if we got this covered says this is happening from one of our sources, then list the source. Right. And if they say it's one of our inside, well then don't believe it.
Yeah. So
let's be completely honest.
Polaris says I've never seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I can't comment on their CGI. They have some of the best TV CGI, but they also have Disney money. So I mean, it's not really a big surprise. Fake news. Yeah. Even in our field, there's fake news, which is crazy. So I'm going to go another 5 minutes to see if anybody has any super chats, and then we're going to head out. So if you have any questions, super chats, go ahead and drop it in there. Yeah. Flashpoint says, damn it, Cyber, you fell for the clickbait. Yes. My brother who streams on Twitch, if you guys are ever interested, hit me up on Twitter. He does Twitch streams for all kinds of games. He's a gamer, and I am too, but that's kind of his bag. So I'll give you a link to his channel. What did you think of the Killer Frost costume? Good question, Laura. I like it better than the one from last season. What did you think? What did you think of the Killer Frost costume?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. Apparently it was meant to debut last season, but something happened and it never did.
Didn't Danielle come out and say she didn't like one of the suits? Was it season 4, season 5?
I think it was the one that, the season 3 one.
Yeah. The jean jacket and the tight stretch pants.
No, I think the season 3 one was.
Let me look it up so I can see what it was.
The Savitar one, and she had a skirt and it was really cold. Because when she got it, they were filming in winter.
Yeah, I didn't like that one either. I remember that one. It's the one with the long coat and the weird collar on it.
She has fishnets or something.
Yeah, I don't understand what they were thinking with that suit. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I think she said it was really cold to wear and not the most comfortable.
Yeah.
So she didn't like that one.
Yeah, that one was not great. Okay, got it. Are you reviewing Black Lightning this year or an after party? So I can't guarantee that we'll talk about it in the after party because Pagey has to watch it on Netflix, so it's a week behind for him. But I will be reviewing it. So I will be doing rant reviews for it. And I mean, I can answer random Black Lightning questions, but if it's too spoilery, I don't want to spoil it for him if he hasn't seen it yet. Yeah, Adrian says the season 3 with the blue. Yeah, that was not great. Wait, hold on. What is this question I missed up here? Pagey, react to the Arrow season 5 finale. You're going to react to the series finale. I will probably do a reaction to the Arrow series finale as well. Were you thinking about doing one or no?
Maybe.
It's not really
Not too
like
sure.
it's not
I
our
really thought
it's
it
not
through.
our thing. We don't really do it. So
I don't really think that far ahead either.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, I usually just go with
yeah.
the
Well,
flow.
thank you for coming in, Hero's Journey. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you just got to watch out with your Black Lightning reviews, Eric, because of your history of racism. So that
You mean the people, the West Island people that came after me? Yeah, I gotta be careful with those. Eric's Reloaded loves Mia. That's a damn lie. Do not love Mia.
fave character.
So when I told my brother that the Arrow series was going to continue with her as Green Arrow, but a different like show, but basically continuing that story, he was just like, "Are you kidding me?" So that's how we're going to remember the show. I'm like, yeah, I mean, guess so. Amethyst goes, just curious. I assume since he's in Crisis, they're making him part of the Arrowverse now. He's going to be part of the expanded Arrowverse, like some of the other characters. What are you laughing about? What are you going to say here? I know something's going to be.
Just that someone put "good night" after I said that you're going to get accused of racism.
Wait, who said that? Wait,
Dr. Cringe just said "good night."
Really? Hold on. Oh gosh, that is funny. Cantergraph says Tommy was 3 days here for 3 days, which means 1 day of filming. Yeah, I don't suspect we're going to see a lot of those characters on the show. I think that a lot of people have expectations for them that are probably not going to be filled. So
yeah, I have a feeling that they're just going to get like just shoved into a scene,
right?
A couple of scenes that they quickly shove into the crossover that weren't, actually in the script, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got a super chat real quick. Right before we wrap this up. Brandon52 with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much for the support, Brandon. Respect and love both of your channels. Thank you. What's the most obscure Arrowverse character you would want to return for Crisis? That's a really good question. So I know this is probably not obscure. Well, you say obscure, so I don't want to like cop out on it. I would love to see Kid Flash from Crisis, and we know that's not going to happen. But I think he should return in Crisis. But we're talking about obscure characters. I would like to see. Oh, that's a good question. Do you have anybody that you know right away that you'd like to see?
Me?
Yeah.
Apart from Maxwell Lord, probably I just say Speedster Iris West. I think that's the go. Couldn't beat that, or both. Both of those characters coming back.
You don't want the money, the I want your money guy.
I want my money.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name was.
Does it even matter? It doesn't even really matter. I would say like Kid Flash would be somebody I would love to see come back. What are we talking about here?
No, and Dr. Cringe wait, did I say you were racist?
God, that's a good question. There's so many characters. I would love to see Jessie Quick come back and get more screen time. You could say she's obscure.
Oh, no. You know what the answer is?
What?
Earth 19 Flash, aka Accelerated Man.
Yeah, I see Nick posted that.
That's the answer.
Well, he's super obscure. Like he's almost non-existent as a character. The Calculator, Earth 1 Laurel, another version of Captain Cold. Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a good question. So yeah, I would say Kid Flash or Jessie Quick. I mean, I'm actually really shocked like that Kid Flash is not going to be there for Crisis. I get that Jessie Quick isn't. I mean, even though it doesn't make that much sense. Actually, it doesn't make sense because this is Crisis on Infinite Earths, which means Jessie Quick and her team from Earth 2 should be there. So that's weird. Red Tornado. People are just saying names now. I'm not answering that question, Blinn. No, we're not going to go there. So when are we supposed to get the new Harrison Wells before we go? Is it next episode or the episode after that?
3, I think.
It's 3. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. We're going to wrap this up now. Thank you so much.
Do you want another dad joke to end it off?
Oh God, go ahead before I do a shout out.
You sure you want it?
Yeah, do it. I'm going to cover.
Okay, let me think of one. What's we'll go that one. What's ET short for?
I don't know. What is it short
Because
for?
he's got little legs. There
Oh,
we go.
God.
Let's finish off the stream.
Oh, thank you guys so much for coming. As a dad joke to end it off. No, but do shout outs for our super chats real quick. Jasper, Ganger, Victor, Ganger, Sam, Victor, Flashpoint, Ganger, Mike, Flashpoint, and Brandon. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I really do appreciate it. We will see you guys next Tuesday. We're going to talk about the Arrow premiere, which I think is going to be really exciting. So we will cut back on the other shows to give room for Arrow since it is the premiere episode. So we'll see what's going to happen. Actually, I think The Flash might have a lot to do with Crisis as well. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for stopping in for an after party. It's going to be a fun season. I think we're going to have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. Thank you so much, Pagey, for joining me as usual.
No.
So, all right, guys, take care. We'll see you later.